Okay, so if you're anything like me, I'm sure at some point making your comic, you've gone through some sort of like author burnout. I know I have time and time again. Just some things to keep in mind so that your story writing process can go as smoothly as possible. Number one, make sure that you're getting your ideas like out, and I don't mean the actual like script itself. I just mean any ideas or thoughts that may pop into your brain. Start writing them down, or at least logging them, whether it's on your phone or in a like a word program or somewhere. Just get it out of your mind a little bit. I know there are some people out there that if their ideas don't really stick to them, they don't keep them because they feel like they're no good anyways. But to me, it's like anything can build into a better idea. Like you never know what will actually trigger your thoughts sometimes. So it's good to just get some of those out of your mind and on paper. That can keep your mind from getting real like clouded or anything, especially when you're trying to get the script of a story together or like plot out the events of a story. Just the less congested your mind is, the better you are. Congested? I think that's the right word. The other thing is to always like keep your inspirations in mind. Whatever like moved you to make this comic in the first place, make sure that's, if you're ever doubting what you're doing with your story or where you want to go, look at some of your inspirations, whether that is reading your favorite comic books, watching your favorite TV shows, playing your favorite video games, whatever it is that's inspiring you to do what it is that you do. Start delving a little bit into those things to see if that can get you more inspired to do some, like, figure some things out in your story or plot things better. I know it sounds counterproductive to tell you to take a break if you're like trying to write your story. But as long as you're sitting down and trying to get to work, that's the most important thing. If you need to take some time out to sort of like find some inspiration or motivation, anything like that, that's a plus. What you're trying to do is like unclog the thoughts in your mind and get going with the story again. So if you need a bit of re-inspiration, that'll help. And I don't know if re-inspiration is a word. I highly doubt that it is. And the last thing that I want to touch on, at least as a bit of sort of advice to avoid getting like story burnout in the middle of like writing your script or your story, your plot, whatever it is that you're trying to get done as a writer, make sure that you're keeping true to the thing that made you want to tell your story in the first place. Like whatever it is you're trying to accomplish with your story, or whatever it is, like the type of story that you had in mind when you started in the beginning, make sure what you're doing is sticking to that at all times. That way, if you ever feel like you're starting to get lost, the ideas aren't flowing the way that you want them to, or the story's getting a little out of control, you can always sort of get back on track to where you need to be if you keep in mind what you wanted the story to be or the type of story you wanted to tell in the first place. So a lot of these tips sort of go hand in hand and they're all closely related, but they're just things to prevent you from getting to points that I know I've gotten to a million times working on stories over the years for comic books, and that is you either feel like the story's getting away from you as you keep plotting stuff down that gets turning into something you didn't originally want it to be, or you just get completely burnt out and you can't type anything, you can't write anything, you're getting sort of burnt out. Just instead of trying to think of ideas on the fly or trying to like mishmash ideas in your brain, like I said, plotting some of them out, finding your inspiration, and just keeping focus on what made you want to make this story in the first place are all things that I'm pretty sure help you if you get into a rough patch with your stories.